everybody can hear me. My name is Chris Cromwell. I'm the Manager of Media Relations with Vancouver 2010.
Okay.
Those of you who I've not met in person yet. Thank you for coming down this morning. I know everybody has had a busy schedule recently, and then getting prepared for the Torino games in the short period of time here is a lot of work, so I appreciate your attendance today. In attendance today we have Vancouver 2010 CEO John Furlong and His Worship Mayor Sam Sullivan, who will both be speaking. We have a number of photo opportunities today. This is meant to be a little bit informal, so what I will do is, as we come to them, I will orchestrate clearly and give everybody time to get in position. And the idea here is to give you some information on the flag protocol handover at the closing ceremony. So without further delay, I will introduce John Furlong to begin the program.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good to be here. Everybody, this is obviously a very exciting time for the organizing committee. We're coming to the end of a very sustained, long planning period, and we're now getting ready to head to the Olympic and Paralympic Games in Torino. And tomorrow, the closing ceremony of the Games in Torino are a month away tomorrow. And the closing ceremonies mark a particular moment in time for us. It's the day that we formally step up onto the world stage and present ourselves to the world and communicate to the world in a way that we want the world to start to begin to understand what they can expect from Canada and Vancouver as the Games of 2010 approach. Embedded in the closing ceremonies, there are a number of things that are designed specifically for Vancouver 2010, and one is the handover of the flag, of the Olympic flag, to the new host city. And that segment takes there's about 3 minutes of the closing ceremony that's designed to make that all work, and I'll come back to that in a second. And then there's an 8-minute segment in which we are responsible for staging a piece of the closing ceremony itself. And our team has been working on that for quite a long time now, and we're preparing and training and practicing for that, and you'll see all of that unfold on the stage in Torino live. When it happens, you already know who the headline performer representing us will be. So it's a fantastic, really, time for us because we have been obviously waiting to be on the world stage, and what's especially important for us is the fact that at the closing ceremonies there will be an audience of about 500 to 1 billion people watching from all over the world. So that's roughly in the order of 10 times the size of the audience that will watch the Super Bowl live in 2 weeks' time. So it's a very big audience. Fantastic chance for us to sort of communicate. Now, the flag ceremony in Torino will be different. It'll be different for the first time. And it's a historic moment for us, obviously, because Mayor Sullivan will be the first quadriplegic mayor ever to receive a flag for the next host country. So I can't imagine the pride that he's going to feel and the responsibility that he's going to feel. But it's a chance for us to showcase the commitment we've made to accessibility and inclusivity in the build-up to the Games. It's been a major focus of our team all along. And there's been a lot of teamwork that's gone into preparing for this, because obviously we've had to improvise and properly prepare so that this ceremony can be flawless. And examples of things that have had to be done, we've had to do quite a bit of work with His Worship to the chair, and you're going to hear about that a little bit later on. And also the organizing committee for the Olympic Games in Torino has had to improvise and to install a special elevator into the stage on the field of play so that His Worship can make his way out there into the location in which he would receive the flag. Many groups have been involved in collaborating to make sure that he has what he needs to be the star performer that he has to be, representing Canada over there. So the flag is huge. And so the piece of work that has been required is a considerable piece of work, which I think you're going to hear about in a minute. The pole is 16 feet high. The flag is enormous. I think you've been used to seeing the IOC flag that we have, and they're actually quite small. Mayor Sullivan will have his own comments to make to you in a minute, but to give you a little bit of a picture, because I I'm not sure all of you have actually seen this ceremony. A little bit of a picture about what to expect and what this ceremony will look like. We're going to give you a look at a couple of video clips from Salt Lake City and Athens, which will give you an idea of how this protocol, this ceremony works, and how the new city is formally sort of inducted through this flag raising and flag handover ceremony. Do we have that video? If we look up here, you'll...
Torino, Sergio, Torino.
We're going to do one more. So this flag has its origins in Oslo, where this ceremony started in Oslo at the 1952 Winter Olympic Games when the flag was first handed over. And what will happen in Torino will be this: there will be a formal introduction of the mayor of Torino. He will take the flag and he will pass that flag over to the President of the International Olympic Committee, Jacques Rogge, who in turn will then pass the flag over to his worship, Sam Sullivan, who will then have the responsibility of showing the flag to the world on behalf of Canada and Vancouver and the host region for the Games. Your worship, I can't even imagine what you're feeling like. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, and I think if somebody had said to you growing up that one day you'd end up representing your country at the Olympic Games to get the flag to bring it home, you probably would have, I don't know what you would have said to them, but it would have been almost too much to think you could believe. But this is what's going to happen, and you're going to be the one there, and we're thrilled that you're going to be with us, and we're thrilled at the way that you've embraced what we're trying to do here, and I think everybody is just dying to hear what you have to say about it, so the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, John, and the whole Van Ock team for coming to City Hall. I'm really thrilled and honored to be representing our country and to be representing citizens of Vancouver and Whistler in this incredible moment as I accept the flag and next month in Torino. Now, I must confess, I was very surprised to find out how big this flag is and how difficult it can be to maneuver it. And I think the Olympic organizers in Torino have wondered how I will manage as a quadriplegic. You can see the brawn and the kind of physical strength you need to be able to do that. So it's been a challenge for me. So on a personal level, I know this will be a big experience to represent all of us, to represent all of the citizens of Vancouver. And I will be representing the thousands of volunteers that have made this possible, and it's a tremendous honor to me. Since my skiing accident, becoming a quadriplegic, I've had to always improvise and find ways around my disability, figuring out how I can succeed in the world. And this is just another example of how I'm going to have to improvise. And what I've done is I've asked some community groups to come together and help work with the engineers at City Hall to figure out how I'm going to be able to do this. And we have some very wonderful people here. We have Manny Dio, who represents some of the engineers at City Hall, and we have Gary Birch, who is a PhD engineer. He is the head of the Neil Squire Society, which does a lot of wonderful high-tech innovations for people with disabilities. And we have Jay Drew from a group called TETRA that I was involved in founding. And what TETRA is a number of volunteer engineers who work with disabled people to help them achieve quality of life. And Jay has helped me through my many years of figuring out how to adapt to so many interesting things. So I'd like to have Manny Dio come and describe the kind of work that has been going on this.
Here's what we'll do, just Manny, before you start speaking here. We'll do, for this portion here, we'll show you the adjustments that have been made to the chair. And then following that, then we'll do a photo opportunity. I'll give everybody plenty of time. We'll show the size of this regular size flag in proportion to the actual size, as you can see here. So, let me interrupt them. Go ahead.
What we have to do is there's three main challenges in trying to accommodate the big flag to the chair. There's structural design changes that we had to make. We had to look at the stability of the wheelchair, as well as look at the temperature considerations in regards to the temperature and the wind, make sure that the chair was all stable. And what we came up with was that actually Jay's got this was the existing structural hardware that was on the chair. And what we ended up doing was we took off the existing structure and put in a more beefier stainless steel structure so that we could put this adapter on, which has a receptacle for the flagpole. And we looked at the stability as well. We made sure that the chair would be stable enough to accommodate the 60 pole, as well as take the different conditions for wind and different temperatures. So what I'm going to do here is just take off the caps and put the adapter in. And so it just clicks in like it did right there, and boom, the flag attached to this here. You saw the wind in one of those clips.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing I think what's remarkable about what they've achieved is to be able to deal with what the elements could possibly be like. Obviously, if there were perfect conditions, then none of this would be nearly as much of a factor. But if there's high winds or snow or rain, all of this is designed to make sure that any effort that will work in all conditions. Well done.
Can we pause here for a photo opportunity with the flag? Just ask everybody to